Welcome to Catalonia, land of sea and mountains, forests and Christmas traditions. Today we'll explore one of the most curious and lovely, the Caga Tió. In a small village in the Pyrenees lives Grandpa Toni, a retired pastry chef and nature lover. Every year his grandchildren, Júlia and Marc, visit him in the summer, but this year they'll come in December, and something special is about to happen. Following an ancient custom, Grandpa Toni will take them into the forest to find their own tió, a magical log that, with the right care, brings surprises on Christmas Eve. But what secrets does this tradition hold, and what will the children discover on this special night? Join us in this story full of magic and tradition, where we uncover the essence of a beautiful Christmas custom. In a small village in the Pyrenees, where the mountains are blanketed with snow and the air smells of burning wood, lived Grandpa Antonio, a retired pastry chef who had spent his life baking delicious treats. Though his name was Antonio, everyone in the village called him Toni. His passion for cooking remained alive, and his grandchildren loved the cakes he always made for them when they came to visit. Grandpa Toni, Toni, as he was called at home, was also a great lover of nature. He enjoyed walking through the woods, observing trees and flowers, and teaching his grandchildren to listen to the whispers of the wind. Every summer, he received a visit from Júlia and Marc. But this year was different. They came to spend Christmas with him. Grandpa always told them stories about the Caga Tió, an ancient tradition that connects their family to the land and to their ancestors, and this time they would experience it together. Nowadays, people keep the same log year after year, but Toni prefers the old tradition of finding a new one each season, like in the past, when the tió would be burned in the fireplace after Christmas. The children, fascinated by their grandfather's stories, couldn't wait to find their own tió in the forest. For Toni, this tradition is not only about keeping the holiday magic alive, it's also about connecting with nature, learning to respect it, and valuing the forest around them. One morning, after a breakfast of freshly baked bread and homemade strawberry jam, Grandpa picked up a raffia sack and said to his grandchildren, "Today is the perfect day to find our tió. The forest gives us what we need if we know how to listen." The children bundled up and headed out with him. In the forest, everything was silent under the snow. It felt like an enchanted world. The trees creaked softly in the wind, and the moss-covered ground guided them like a magical path. Among the fallen logs, they found one that stood out, covered in moss with whimsical shapes. Júlia gently touched it. "I like this one. What do you think, guys?" she asked her grandfather and brother. They both liked the log too. With effort, they carried it home and placed it by the fireplace. They covered it with a thick blanket and every night left it bread, nuts, and mandarins. Toni took a red baratina, a traditional Catalan hat, from a drawer and placed it on the log. "We must feed it well," said Toni. "Long ago, our families would offer food to the ancestors. What we eat, they enjoy in spirit." Each morning, Júlia and Marc ran to check the tió and laughed when they found mandarin peels scattered on the floor. "He ate them!" Marc exclaimed excitedly. Christmas Eve arrived. The fire crackled in the fireplace, and the scent of burning wood filled the room. Júlia and Marc gathered around the tió, full of excitement. They took their sticks and respectfully began to tap it while singing, "Caga Tió ameles y toro, no caguis arengades que son masa salades. Caga torons que son mes bons." Grandpa smiled. Suddenly, a magical breeze swept through the room, and the firelight seemed to dance more brightly. The children lifted the blanket and discovered sweets and small gifts. Their eyes sparkled with joy. "No way, look, look! There are real presents. I knew magic was real. I knew it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the best day ever, Júlia shouted to her brother.
The Tió always gives back what we give it, Toni whispered.
Before going to bed, Grandpa took a piece of the Tió's wood and placed it in the fireplace. Júlia watched the Tió with curiosity. Her grandfather noticed her thoughtful look and smiled. Grandpa, why do we burn the Tió's wood at Christmas? Júlia asked, leaning toward him. Grandpa stroked his white beard and pointed to the flames dancing in the fireplace. The wood we burn isn't just wood, Júlia. It's a bridge between us and those who came before. Our ancestors lived close to the forests. They knew that trees held the earth's energy. When fire consumes the wood, it releases that energy, and its spirit rises with the smoke to connect us with those who came before us. It's their way of telling us they are still with us, generation after generation. Júlia stared at the fire in awe. So, when the Tió gives us presents, does it also bring the joy of our ancestors? Grandpa nodded and said, The Caga Tió brings gifts because it represents the generosity of nature and the Christmas spirit of sharing. Long ago, the log symbolized the firewood that gave warmth in winter and the food stored for the holidays. Over time, the tradition evolved, and now the Tió poops sweets and small gifts as a symbol of abundance, joy, and a reward for the care we give it before Christmas. The children watched the sparks rise into the starry sky. In that moment, they understood that the true magic of the Caga Tió wasn't just in the gifts, but in the connection with nature, with family, and with those who, though no longer here, were still part of their lives. That night, as they slept, they dreamed of the forest, the whispers of the trees, and the warmth of the hearth fire. Christmas in Toni's village was, without a doubt, a time of magic and love. The Caga Tió, also known simply as Tió de Nadal, is a beloved Christmas tradition typical of Catalonia, Aragon, and Andorra, with similar variations in other areas of the Pyrenees. It consists of a wooden log with a smiling face drawn on it, small legs added, and it is dressed with a baratina, traditional Catalan hat, and a blanket to keep it warm. The tradition begins in early December, when children feed the Tió every night with food such as fruit or sweets. The log fattens up until Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, when children hit it with sticks to the rhythm of a traditional song, asking it to poop out gifts. At the end of the ritual, under the blanket, small presents, candies, or nougat appear. The Caga Tió is a magical and fun tradition that combines elements of rural folklore with the Christmas spirit, deeply rooted in Catalan and Pyrenean households, passed down from generation to generation as an essential part of Christmas.